Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ernesto, and thank you, Richard, and thank you for IATEFL organizers. My name is Bahia Dawi. I'm a teacher trainer from Oman, and I feel very proud, and it's my pleasure to be with you today with other 4 teachers to introduce our research exploratory action research project in Oman. The teachers that I worked with are working in 4 different public schools in the northeast part of Oman. And they are actually teaching different age levels of students. So I have a teacher who's teaching in a primary school, and that's Sumaya, and then another teacher who's teaching in a middle school, Maya, and then other 2 teachers who are teaching high school students. And to give you a brief overview about the project in Oman, we've started the project it was through 3 online meetings between June and July 2021. And through that time, teachers had the chance to be introduced to what's exploratory action research, why it's important to them as teachers, and also how it could also help them to understand and know more about the challenges and resolve issues that they are facing in their classrooms. However, that was actually the end of the school year in my country. So the actual work started in September by the start of the new school year. And I was able only to mentor teachers through online meetings. That was done either through group meetings or individualized one-to-one meetings with the teachers because of the pandemic. And I'd like also to highlight that throughout the process of mentoring my teachers, I was working hand in hand with another mentor in Oman. She's Hiam, and who has also a group of teachers who will present their posters tomorrow. And that was a great experience for both of us because we were co-sharing responsibilities and reflecting on the experience. Today, I feel very proud to introduce the 4 teachers to you because they worked very hard to support their students through being engaged in exploratory action research. So without further ado, I'm very pleased to introduce firstly Rahma, who is going to talk about minimizing the students' fear. So I'm going to share the screen and be ready, Rahma. Just seconds. Is the poster clear to you now?
Yes, it is clear.
Okay. So you have between 3 to 4 minutes, Rahma.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. I am pleased to be with you to present my exploratory research, which is under the title Minimizing Fear of Speaking in English. I focused on speaking because it was very obvious from the very first lessons with my students that my students hesitate to speak in class. Not only hesitation, but it seemed like some kind of phobia of speaking in English. The target group is grade 12 students, 28 female students who showed excellent performance in all English skills except speaking. Many questions actually jumped to my mind at that time, but mainly I focused on 3 questions. 3 research questions, trying to explore and understand the factors and the challenges that made speaking such a hard task. Therefore, I distributed a questionnaire among my students, and then we had discussion for about 30 minutes about the issue, the same issue. Actually, I didn't exclude myself from being a cause of this problem. That's why I actually asked one of my colleagues to be part of my research, and actually she attended many lessons, and she gave me very rich feedback indeed. And also, I read a lot of articles, website articles about the same issue. After analyzing the questionnaire, I found out that 81% of my students were afraid of making mistakes. During the discussion, I also understood that most students were worried about the grammar, and they spent so much time translating their thoughts from Arabic into English. They also admitted that they didn't practice English enough, and they didn't give speaking so much importance actually, because they know that speaking is not very important to pass final exams. And one of the most important findings actually, which I didn't notice from the beginning, that I was always in a hurry when my students need some time to prepare their thoughts and ideas. To be able to deal with this issue, I prepared an action plan which contained many strategies. At the beginning, I started to focus more on oral responses more than written ones. I also applied many strategies like funny activities and also group activities to provide some kind of relaxing atmosphere inside the class. And also I included songs, stories. I asked some students to send me audio recordings. And also, I didn't ignore reinforcement. I focused a lot on reinforcement, especially giving marks, since they are grade 12 students and they care a lot about marks. Recently, I'm very happy actually about the results. There is a noticeable improvement in students' participation in speaking activities. I learned from the experience also that we always need to be more patient, friendly, and good listeners to our students. And never ignore small problems, because actually solving these small problems may cause a very big change. This is everything about my presentation. Thank you very much for your listening.
Thank you, Rahman. Good timing. Thank you. Well done. And the questions, you will receive them in the breakout rooms. And I'd like now to call Sumaya to present the second presentation. Probably I need to enlarge it a bit. Okay. While speaking. Okay, you can start, Sumaya.
Hello everyone, I am Sumaya Hatmi, an English language teacher at Al-Inshirah Primary Public School in north of Sharqiya and Sultanate of Oman. This year I am teaching grade 2 students, 34 students divided to 2 weeks this semester. 17 female students and 17 male students. They are aged from 7 to 8 years old. They have been learning English since last year, mainly through online classes. So at the beginning of this academic year, I was shocked with my students' handwriting. So it seems to be interesting research that it deserves to be researched. So my research is about improving young learners' handwriting skills. To investigate this topic, I stated my research questions as following. What problems my students have in handwriting? Why do my students have problems in handwriting? And what activities or strategies can I implement to improve my students' handwriting skills? So to answer the first two questions, the data was collected mainly through qualitative instruments, which are my own observations during my classes, and also analyzing my students' samples of writing, and some conversations with the English language teachers at the school. So after analyzing the data, I found out that my students face many problems in handwriting, such as the direction, spatial arrangement, sizing, forming letters, letter reversal, and mixing uppercase and lowercase, as you can see. To address these problems, first of all, I understand why they have these problems. So these issues could be because of many reasons, such as the lack of motor skills. Also, it could be because of the absence of legal requirement in the national curriculum for teachers to teach handwriting skills, as well as the lack of practice and teacher supervision, especially during the distance learning in the previous 2 years. So to address these problems, I implemented some strategies in my classes so far. For example, I started with tactile writing strategies, sponsor the space, and using a mini design board for each student in my class. So although this is not the ultimate result that so far, I found that most of my students now are aware of their handwriting characteristics. After going through this experience, I have learned that reflecting on my daily teaching practices is a need, as well as using tactile and sensory strategies is very effective, especially with this group of students at this age. Moreover, to be patient with my students, because improving their handwriting, it is a slow and labored process that need for them. So this is all about my presentation. If you have any question or any comment, we will see you on the breakout room. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sumaya. Well done, well done. Thank you, and good timing also. Now we'll move to the third presenter. Fatma. Okay. Fatma, are you here, Fatma?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So good afternoon, this is Fatma Ismaili. I am 13-year experience teaching grades from 10 to 12. I'm really happy to have this opportunity to present my poster today. So my topic is enhancing students' ability to speak more. And my target group is grade 12 students art section. Now I choose this section or this class because they are below the average in most of the skills due to the gap in the last 2 years. And so I wanted to give them hope that they can improve in English, they can do something to improve their speaking specifically. Now I choose speaking because I believe it's the easiest skill to be learned. And also I wanted them to feel the difference in the language. Okay, so I have some research questions. Why are most of my students reluctant to use English in the classroom? How do I usually react when students don't participate in English? And how can I encourage my students to use English more in the classroom? So to answer these questions, I tried many tools, like interviewed some of my students and also some of my colleagues to understand the problem. I also distributed a questionnaire in the mother language to the students. I recorded some of my lessons. Also, I took some photos for the students. And also, I asked one of my colleagues to attend one of the classes and observe how I am reacting to the students while they are speaking. What I discovered through these tools is that students are afraid of making mistakes, and they lack vocabulary and they lack confidence. And because of the gap, the 2-year gap, they forget that English is very important. That's why they didn't take care of it, didn't give it much care because through online, it was very difficult for them. Now, after I discovered these facts about my students, I planned for some strategies. Actually, I planned 4 of them and I tried all of them. So the first one is everyday topic. The second is vocabulary notebook. The third one is speaking partner. And the fourth one is 6th period, which is a class specifically just for speaking activities. So what I noticed after applying these strategies is that my students show very, they were very interested in speaking English. They were very interested in trying to speak in English. They build more confidence. Sometimes they even ask me to come in the front of the class to speak. Also, I was really happy to see some students trying to use the different vocabulary that they recorded in their notebook while they are speaking. They just go back to their notebook, trying to find the correct word, and instead of just asking me for the word, for the translation of the word in English. And it made me feel very great at that point. At the end, I asked my students, I tried to know what is the feedback from my students. I wanted to know. So I made two things. There was a questionnaire and also an interview. For the questionnaire, I asked some general question about the whole experience. So I asked my students if they feel that there is any improvement in their skill in speaking, and which strategies that they like the most, and which strategy they like to continue with the whole year. These were my questions for them. For the interview, I asked the senior teacher to make an interview with some students. So she chose some students. She made an interview with them, and what she got is that the students have very positive attitude toward the whole experience. Now they like English more. They like to try their best. They are interested in the activities, especially in speaking, and they don't feel that afraid of making mistakes. It's okay, as everyone is the same in the class, which made me really happy about the experience. And thank you so much.
Yeah, you exceeded the time a bit, but that's fine. Thank you, Fatma. And the last presenter, Maya. You can start, Maya. Okay. Maya, can you hear us? She was here in seconds, right?
I'm still here. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, okay.
Yes.
Okay, so you can start, Maya.
Okay, so hello everyone. My topic is improving students' reading comprehension skills. Why I chose this topic? Because at the beginning of this academic year, I noticed that my grade 8 students who are 14 to 13 years old, they have like, not everyone, but a big number of them, they have like some difficulties in reading. Some in decoding letters, but other people like in understanding. Like after they read, they have problem in answering questions, for example. So I started, these are my questions. My questions are, I started with what kind of reading difficulties do my students have? And what do my students have reading, why my students have reading difficulties? 3, what tools will I use to diagnose the reading difficulties that my students have, and what strategies I'm going to use to help my students acquire better reading comprehension skills. So how I collected data? I collected data through, number one, a diagnostic test that was made at the beginning of this year, September, and I used chit chats. After finishing the diagnostic test, I found out that they have the problem in reading and like answering the questions. They can read, but they can't answer the questions. So I sat with them. I tried to make it very friendly as they are very young. Like they can't answer, it will be very difficult for them to answer questionnaires. So we just sat and talked in a friendly way. And number 3, I used formal and informal reading quizzes. That's to be, it will be like a reward for them that this marks they will get, or after achieving a certain skill, which is reading better, it will be recorded for them in the assessment book. Okay, so strategies that I used. The strategies that I used, like scaffolding reading text for my students. I said also informal reading quizzes and helping my students with WH questions. Like I gave them more meanings, more explanation. I highlighted the important words, for example. Then I let them answer the questions that they have. I found out, or after applying this, I saw that. So after finding that my students were unable to summarize the reading text, I tried to do something better for them. And why all of this? Again, because of the some of my colleagues mentioned the lack of practice because the COVID-19 break. Okay, so this affected many skills, including including reading actually. So after I think like after finishing all of this, I achieved some goals. Number one, I think that my students' performance became better, okay, after 2 months of practice. And the second goal, I think that my students spend less time. So the help that I afforded, the time and practice we afforded made them better, so they spend less time. And number three, they enjoyed them. They enjoyed these reading classes. So what I learned from all of this, I think that good students' results require a lot of practice. I gave them a lot of practice, and actually they spent a lot of effort doing the practice. Number two, I have to provide a safe learning atmosphere to facilitate the classroom learning. Like not everything is recorded, not everything is like for marks. Let's just learn for fun, learn some like funny words, something that we can use outside the classroom, and this will make it like safer for them to not to, it will be okay to make mistakes, just learn. And number three, this ER experience gave me the opportunity to understand my student challenges and my role in supporting them. So it was something, we had fun actually. My students, and they say, teacher, thank you because you give us a lot of practice. And I think this is the most important thing that I have achieved.
Okay, thank you, Maya. I need to stop you now. Probably further explanation about your project, you will do it in the breakout rooms.
Thank you.
Thank you, the four of you. Thank you, teachers. So, yeah, shall we move to the private rooms?
Yes, thank you very much. Very, very nice presentations indeed. As one of our friends, Elizabeth, commented on the Facebook feed, it is wonderful to see such a great young talent in ELT research. Now we're going to have the opportunity to dig deep into our presenters' presentations. So for that reason, I'm going to open up 4 breakout rooms, which are going to have the name of each one of our presenters. Feel free to go from one room to the other and interact with the presenter and with the other attendees. In order to, I would like to just to share some general guidelines, just for you to enhance your participation. So can you see my screen now? Yes.
Yes.
So it says, ask questions or make comments, that is, interact with the presenter. Turn on your camera to make a friendly atmosphere. Follow links in the program to view the presenter's poster rather than asking them to share it. Keep microphones muted when not speaking. Find rooms to go where there are fewer people, moving freely from room to room. And finally, don't press the leave the meeting button, but if you do, you can always come back into this room. So we're going to have 40 minutes for time to interact. And I'm going to send you some messages just as a reminder to go back to the main room after those 40 minutes and share the feedback you received. So I'm going to open up now the breakout rooms, and you can decide which one to join. So thank you very much, and see you in 40 minutes. I believe that now everyone is back. Yes. And well, I would like to invite now the presenters one by one to share what kind of feedback you received and what did you learn from that feedback. And by the end, I would like to bring back your mentor. But if I can start with the first presenter, who I believe was Rahma. Would you like to share, please?
Yes, I want to say that actually this experience was one of the most interesting experience I had in my whole career till now, I mean. Actually, we used to ignore some of the problems. We used to focus a lot of curriculum and finishing the curriculum and assessing my students, finishing the continuous assessment. But there are other points we need to focus on. Exploratory research actually opened our eyes more on the tiny things, the tiny problems we have in our classes, and those tiny things may make very big changes in our classrooms. We need to make sure that our students enjoy the lessons. They are learning a language, not like in any other subjects. They are learning a language. They need to acquire skills for their whole life. They are going to communicate with people from all around the world. So why should I focus on the curriculum itself? Why should I always convince my students it's better to get marks instead of acquire excellent skill? That's why I always I believe now that I want to teach, or it's very important that I teach my students from the bottom of my heart, not from the textbook. I think you can understand or get my point. I need to show my students that I do care about them, not only caring about finishing my duty by the end of the year. No, I do care about them. And actually, this experience, it was like a gift for me. I mean, I learned a lot about it. Just don't ignore any problem that pop up in your class. Make sure that your students are with you. Be closer to them. Be a good listener to them. They are brilliant. They can understand a lot of things and give you a lot of suggestions. And I'm sure that I'm going to go on, inshallah, on this experience. And also, I will say I'm going to carry this experience to my colleagues inside the school. Actually, they asked me in advance to give them my experience about this research, and very big thanks to Bahia, our mentor. Actually, she was very supportive. I didn't reach the point in which I feel lost, or I feel that I don't know what to do next. She was always contacting us. She was always making things easier for us, providing us with examples and so on. And very big thanks also to all organizers of this great conference.
And thank you, Rahma.
Thank you
very much. Now, can I ask Sumaya to share her views?
Yes.
Yes, go ahead, Sumaya.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me? Is it clear?
Yes, we can hear you. Yes.
Yeah, actually, as my colleague said, it is a unique experience that we were looking for in our career. So most of us, we know what does it mean research. We have learned what does it mean research, but we don't dare actually to do that in our daily teaching practices. However, this is a very important step that we do in our daily teaching practices, because we know that as a human being, we have some mistakes. We have to fix them actually during our teaching practices. So because we have now learned what does it mean action research, now we explore our daily teaching practices. we know sometimes we want to fix one problem, then we find many of other problems that our students face them every day. So without research, we will not have the opportunity to help our students and support them. So as I said that action research gives us a new opportunity to change our daily routine. For example, we test some strategies that they were working with our previous students, but for example, this year's I used the same strategies, but they didn't work with my students. So it means that I keep testing and trying new strategies and looking for the reasons behind that will help me and help my students to go on in this, for example, with their learning process. And it will not help only my students, but it will help me at the beginning. So we have different students every year, but some of the problems, they keep coming up with the same students, with the different students, sorry. So at the end, I said again, it is a new experience that I went through. And since I started the action research, I keep testing and questioning and reflecting on my teaching practices. Is it the right way that I do it? So thank you very much, Ms. Bahia, for your support. You gave us this opportunity. So thank you very much, all of you. And this was my experience.
Incredible testimony. Thank you very much. Now, can I ask Fatma to share her experience, please?
Okay, so first of all, I love teaching. And because I'm teaching higher grades, I feel really exhausted. And I feel that I'm doing lots of things, sometimes without any benefits, because I'm dealing with, teenagers, and they have fixed minds. They don't want to change sometimes. So, and most of the time I'm teaching the final year students. So this year is very tough to deal with because, they have exams, they are thinking about lots of things. And once you have students who don't care about English, it will be very difficult for the teacher to deal with this problem. Even I tried through my experience, I was teaching for 13 years. I tried many things. Yeah, sometimes I see a difference. Sometimes no, I don't see any difference in my students' level. So I think this experience brings back the passion for teaching in me. I am very close to the students. I know that maybe they will love the class because of the activities that I'm doing, but I wanted to see a difference. And this year I saw the difference in my students, even if it was like a very small difference, but there was something that I noticed. They were trying very hard, and they made me learn that they are very sensitive. And if they see that the teacher wants to help them from her heart, they will accept it and they will interact with the teacher. And they just need a helping hand. They just need someone to understand them and to just guide them through the right way. This is one. The second one is that every year I'm doing lots of strategies to help students increase or improve their levels in different skills. I know sometimes I don't have time, and because of the curriculum and because we actually teaching in higher levels, in higher grades, but sometimes I'm forcing myself to do extra work just to see a difference. But I was ignoring something, which is going through a system, using systematic tools. I was just thinking about the problem, just deciding what are the solutions without thinking about the students and without thinking about maybe what's behind this problem. What are the reasons? Maybe there are something I don't understand. So I supposed to ask the students first, see the students, my students, to understand my students. And I was ignoring this point. But this year I realized that it's a very essential thing to know the tools and to apply some tools to understand the problem in general before applying any strategy. So this is one of the things that I appreciate by having this experience. And thanks for everyone. Thank you for Bahia. Thanks for Bahia for her support, for her continuous support. And she was with us all the way. And as Rahma said, I reached the point that I didn't know what to do. But thanks God, Bahia was there and she was guiding us. She was, making things easy for us. And I'm really happy to be here in this conference. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Fatma. Incredible testimonies indeed. And now I would like to ask Maya to share her view, both in the feedback she received during the breakout session and her general view. Maya, can you share your?
Yes. Can you hear me now?
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. So I think it was a very great experience and a great chance actually to bond more with my students. I teach grade 8 students and my research was about them. When they left school at grade 6, they came back, of course, before COVID, they came back and they are in grade 8. And there's like a big chance, a big change in the curriculum, in the type of questions, type of activities that they do than grade 6. So when I started all of this through the diagnostic test, I found that they have most of them have reading problems, and these reading problems have to be addressed before, like, they go from grade 8 and 9 and go immediately to it's grade high school with a start in grade 10. So when I thought it should be done now, the action that I should do, the change I should do, should happen now, because I didn't want them to go to higher classes still dealing with or suffering from the same problems. This action research actually taught me to be more patient with my students. I have to be we have to, both the teacher and the students have to uh, like uh, pay some effort. Teaching, of course, always it's a continuous process, so I have to be patient. I have to give them more, of course, feedback, my positive feedback, try to provide a positive atmosphere, encourage them, relax them more so they can do. And sometimes, of course, some of the teachers during the breakout rooms, someone asked me if I sometimes use first language to to give some explanations, do some links between topics in explaining some vocabulary items. I said yes, and one of the teachers actually, she reflected that there are international research that approves this step. It says that this type of research, it says that learning a second language is actually supported by using the first language in some strategies in teaching. So yes, it was a great opportunity. Thank you everybody, and special thanks to Bahia. She was a great help, and as my friend said, yes, she was offering support all over the way since June until this very day. So thank you everybody.
Thank you very much. Very powerful testimonies, very really encouraging. And as they say, behind great teachers, there is always a great mentor. So now, can we hear from Bahia your take, your general take? Thank you.
Thank you, Ernesto, and thank you for my brilliant teachers. Really, I'm very proud of all of you today. Hearing your presentations, hearing the end of the journey that we made all together throughout from June to till now. I'm really pleased to hear that you are very pleased with your students' improvement, seeing that your students' progress because of the work that you have done with them. I'm also very happy to hear comments like that being involved in exploratory action research made you think more in depth about your own teaching and also working hard to support your students. And even some of you mentioned passing this experience with other teachers in the school. I think the teachers were very highly motivated throughout the process of conducting the action research. And as they mentioned, also they love teaching, and that's why they are working in improving the way that they teach their students or whatever support. And exploratory action research was a point for them where they can support their students probably in a better way through firstly thinking about if they have an issue, they need to think more about it in depth before jumping into a solution, what kind of strategies they used. And I think most of the teachers tried to use different types of strategies, were able to use different types of strategies to improve the area and the challenge that they are facing in their own classrooms. It was a learning journey, not only for the teachers and for the students, it was also a learning journey for myself also as a mentor, and especially the support, as I mentioned from the very beginning, that I gave to the teachers was mostly done through online kind of support because of the COVID, and teachers are also they are working in different schools. So having mentoring those teachers either in group, online, or the one-to-one support was also great experience for me as a mentor. Every time the questions that I ask the teachers and the answers that I receive from them let me think also deeper about the whole process and how can we improve it. And reflecting in the whole experience, I think, it was really a very good experience for me as a mentor. And as I said, I'm very proud today to see the 4 teachers presenting in this conference. So well done, everyone. And thank you for the organizing the conference and giving us the chance also to be part of the conference.
Thank you very much. On the contrary, I am the one who feel really lucky having been today here. And well, with those beautiful words, I would like just to wrap up this session. And I just pasted the link for the certificates of attendance in the chat box in case you want to get your certificate. At the same time, I would like to invite you to the next, to the following session, which is a plenary session with Richard Smith and some of the mentors of this program, pretty much in 15 minutes. And yes, well, this is pretty much it. Thank you very much for attending this session. And well, Richard, if you would like to say something else. No, that's it. Well, thank you. So see you in 15 minutes. Well done. Bye-bye. Bye. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Ernesto, for very good chairing of the session. Thank you. I'll stop the recording now.